Morning everybody and welcome to Spintires MudRunner. This is my first little bit of gameplay I'm putting up in this game, on PS4 of course. I will be doing a lot more gameplay footage of this game in the future, I promise that, because I have been really enjoying it. And this time I'm taking out the little UAZ for a bit of a drive. Don't know why I took the diff lock out then for some reason, but... although I suppose this track is not particularly difficult to drive over. Considering the PS4 controls, the actual mechanics and the control system in the game is really quite good. Ingenuitive and inquisitive. Considering you don't have as many buttons on a controller as you do have on a PC keyboard or a sim rig or anything like that, it does look, it does work really well. That water looks quite deep, so I better put the diff locks in, I think. Don't know why I put the parking brake on. There we go. Come on, Red, put the diff locks in. There we go. I do really like the models for the vehicles in this game as well. The UAZ itself looks really good. Although I have put the spare tyre and the roof rack on it just to make it a little bit more usable. Carrying fuel and stuff. Which really is all it can do, but it's helpful nonetheless. I love the way that branches and trees flex and snap as you drive over them rather than just being a stable obstacle and not moving. And the weight of the vehicle really does feel genuine. The UAZ feels light in comparison to most of the other vehicles in the game, as you would imagine. Most of them being trucks and old Soviet era troop transport vehicles and things like that. Like the flatbed lorry, for example. But you can fit other types of bed on the rear of it to carry logs or fuel, anything your heart desires really. So if I was to give a quick overview of this game from, I put about an hour and a half into it last night, what would I say about it? Well, there are things that I wish were not as they were, or things that could do with a little bit of attention. The head-up display in the cockpit is certainly one of them. It looks too arcadey, as if they couldn't be bothered to model individual dashboards for each of the various vehicles in the game. There aren't that many, probably about 15, 16, I haven't actually counted, but in comparison to the amount of vehicles that are in War Thunder, for example, there's not a lot. That's not a complaint, of course, just an observation. And the second thing is the camera. There are three camera modes. There's like this, which is third person, but it's sort of centered more off to the left. And then there is a camera to the front, like that. But you can rotate the camera with the right analog stick, which is fine, except it's not particularly accurate. The camera moves more than you want it to in some scenarios, or doesn't move as much as you want it to. It's quite finicky and fiddly. Although that hasn't really affected my enjoyment of the game thus far. That's about it really as far as complaints go. Otherwise it's sunshine and roses as far as I'm concerned. This game, of course, brought to you by the same people that brought Farming Simulator to the world. And that game's ridiculously popular. To me, it always seemed quite boring, personally. But as somebody who's done a little bit of off-roading, not a lot, nothing as severe or as hazardous as this. But for somebody who's done a bit of off-roading in the past, this really is something that appeals to me personally, which is probably why I enjoy it as much as I have, and do. Yeah, we're very close to getting stuck there. Almost flipped the truck over. Yeah, don't do that, Red, that won't be good. There is a winch to help you winch yourself out of tight situations. I've been driving the UAZ a lot because I've been trying to ferry logs in one of my trucks. And in one of my trucks I was getting very low on petrol and got stuck. And because the UAZ can carry up to 80 litres of petrol, to and from wherever you need it, I decided to use the UAZ to take some petrol to it, which is what I'm going to be doing when I go on the game later. Now, I kind of misjudged how deep this was, and how deep the mud at the bottom of the water is, for that matter. Very deep indeed. Scooter prefers to take the more ham-fisted approach to driving his vehicles. In the amount of time I've been playing, I actually haven't wrecked any of my vehicles yet. I've damaged them, but I haven't destroyed any of them. Scooter, on the other hand, managed to roll his UAZ over. Don't ask me quite how he did that, but hey, practice makes perfect and all that jazz. And I didn't realise this at the time when I recorded this footage, but as you can see, I'm selecting gears manually rather than using the automatic box, which is, again, a little bit fiddly. Sometimes it wants to be in first, then second, then third, and it just doesn't make its mind up. If you look at the white lines on the left-hand side of the gearbox, I assumed that just signified a gear. But at the top left, which is first, there are actually 3 gears, obviously because this is a low-range gearbox. And for a 1 plus, which I've just put it in now, that's sort of for going high speed, high torque, so moving faster like I am now, trying to get through this mud. Pumping the throttle, like in real life, does actually work, as does having a lower gear ratio to help you get over bigger obstacles and get through thicker mud. So this is good. It's a very realistic... It's a simulator. I mean, it's a simulator for your home console. Well, what do you know about that? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of a clip. There will be more coming up. I'll have to sort of make a trailer or an intro. I don't know how I'm going to do that, as there's no button to turn the HUD off. If you do know if there's a button to turn the HUD off, please let me know. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more. Like if you enjoyed it, or the dislike button's right next door, and I'll see you guys on the next Spintires video.